FX's Justified City Primeval premieres July 18th on FX. Stream on Hulu.
What, you going back with him?
Well, he's my partner. You don't go, I don't go.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 modern westerns.
Chaos and destruction. Well, I don't know. I have to think about it.
For this list, we're looking at westerns released in the year 1990 or after. So you will not be finding any John Ford classics or Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns here. What's your favorite western? Let us know in the comments. Before we start the list, any fan of modern westerns should check out the return of Raylan Givens in FX's Justified City Primeval. The U.S. Marshal finds himself in Detroit, aiding the police force to put a stop to the Oklahoma wildman, Clement Mansell.
You want a shooting match? Let's go.
Number 20, Hell or High Water. This neo-western sees two brothers, Tanner and Toby, commit a series of bank robberies in order to save their family's ranch.
I've never met nobody got away with anything, ever. You.
And why in the hell did you agree to do it?
Because you asked, little brother.
They capture the attention of two Texas Rangers who resolve to bring the brothers to justice. The film received high critical praise for its pacing and characterization. Of particular note is Jeff Bridges' performance as Ranger Marcus Hamilton, getting an Academy Award nod for Best Supporting Actor.
Maybe one of these bank robbers is gonna want a gunfight, and I can dodge my retirement in a blaze of glory.
Well, I seen you shoot. Won't be much glory in it.
Hell or High Water does away with romantic views of the West and instead touches on the grim economic reality faced by many in contemporary society. Number 19, Logan. We'll admit this probably isn't the first thing that springs to mind when thinking of westerns, but the elements are there. Director James Mangold has cited Shane, the Cowboys, and Unforgiven as influences. Logan serves as a fitting conclusion to Wolverine's arc in the 20th Century Fox series of X-Men films.
Man has to be what he is, Joni. Can't break the mold. I tried it, it didn't work for me.
The Western conventions employed really help to elevate the story beyond your basic superhero film, where we find Logan coming to the end of the line as his healing factor begins to decline. It got high praise from critics for Hugh Jackman's performance as the titular character and its inclusion of darker elements into the film, pushing the boundaries of what a superhero movie can be.
It is better this way. Because I suck at this. Bad shit happens to people I care about. You understand me?
Then I'll be fine.
Number 18, Back to the Future Part 3. Obviously, nothing compares to Back to the Future, but that film isn't a Western. Thankfully, the third installment of the franchise is one, and reaches all the way back to 1885 to continue the story of Doc Brown and Marty McFly.
I gave you explicit instructions not to come here, but to go directly back to 1985.
I know, Doc, but I had to come.
But it's good to see you, Marty.
It features some recurring gags from the previous films and gives us more details of the residents of Hill Valley, while at the same time playing with the tropes of the Western genre. The addition of Mary Steenburgen as Clara Clayton is wonderful, as her relationship with Doc Brown gives the film good bits of comedy along with heart.
Why, hello. This is quite a surprise.
Well, I hope I'm not disturbing anything.
Oh, no. We were just doing a little model railroad.
Part 3 gives a satisfying conclusion to the series that is worth checking out. Number 17, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Western movies definitely appeal to the Coen brothers, as they have previously visited the genre with True Grit and No Country for Old Men. Buster Scruggs features an ensemble cast with the likes of Tim Blake Nelson, Liam Neeson, James Franco, and Tom Waits. What sets this film apart from others is that it's an anthology film with 6 vignettes, each detailing life on the Western frontier. Critically, it was well received, and each segment is full of the Coens' typical approach to storytelling, while causing us to question the American mythos audiences are accustomed to from various forms of media.
Hold on, son. How's policy? Here's a 6-shooter.
You'll be wanting the senorita pistols as well?
Everything. How's policy?
Feel a bit naked, but...
Number 16, Meeks Cutoff. A small group of settlers travel across the Oregon Trail in search of new opportunities, but things start to go awry when the 2-week-long journey stretches out to 5. understandably, tension among the group starts to rise as supplies dwindle and realization sets in that they might be lost.
How far would you say?
I wouldn't say. I just know it'll be farther than I think. The thinness of the air makes everything look closer than it is.
There could be water, though.
Yeah, possible.
Director Kelly Reichardt is one of the women present in the Western genre who uses the film to examine power dynamics between its characters while also focusing on marginalized groups of people. Meeks Cutoff shouldn't be overlooked, as it gives a great sense of how terrifying travel in the frontier can be.
Sometimes I get the sense you don't care for me much, Miss Tetherow.
Oh, I have no feelings one way or the other, Mr. Meeks.
That's just a kind way of saying you don't like me.
I don't like where we are.
Number 15, The Proposition. Most Westerns are thought of as American and come from Hollywood, but The Proposition puts an Australian twist on the genre. A story of revenge, the film is not shy to show the brutality of Australia in the late 19th century.
So what is it that you want?
I want Arthur Burns.
I no longer ride with me, brother.
Critics praised the acting of Guy Pearce, Ray Winstone, and Danny Huston. Often an issue in Western films is how indigenous cultures are portrayed. But here, great pains were taken by the cast and crew to accurately reflect cultural customs prevalent during the movie's setting.
No, Captain, sir. He is dog. He chained to dog. He grows here. He grows teeth, sharp, and he grows a tail.
It may not be your typical Western, but it is definitely worth your consideration. Number 14, Maverick. This film, based on the TV series of the same name, puts a comedic spin on the Western genre and stars Mel Gibson in the titular role.
Now, I bring all sorts of pluses to the table. I hardly ever bluff, and I never, ever cheat.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I.
Maverick, a con artist, enters a poker tournament looking to take home the big prize. Of course, since this is a comedy, the film pokes fun at some of the conventions of Westerns. It's worth watching just for the cameos alone, as there are many Western actors and country music singers popping up. Danny Glover even shows up as a nod to him and Mel Gibson co-starring in the Lethal Weapon franchise.
Hey! Oh, sorry. Give me that.
Number 13, Appaloosa. The town of Appaloosa is under attack from the ruthless rancher Randall Bragg. Lawman Virgil Cole and Deputy Everett Hitch are brought in to restore peace and order.
We want our town back, and we are ready to pay your price.
What do you allow, Everett?
What we do?
It is, ain't it?
Then you'll do it.
Of course, this is no easy task, as Bragg and his men will not just give in. Ed Harris pulls off multiple roles here as director, writer, producer, and stars as Cole. The film was noted at its release for its earnestness in storytelling as a revisionist Western, making it stand out from other films in that subgenre.
You testify to what you saw? Yes. Yes, sir. With Bragg looking right at you.
I will.
Critics were captivated by the dynamic between Cole and Hitch, as they are wonderful complements to each other. Number 12, Open Range. Directed by Kevin Costner, Open Range features a straightforward story centered around property rights, as cattleman Boss Spearman along with hired hand Charlie battle against rancher Denton Baxter over an open range.
Times change, Mr. Spearman. Most folks change with them. A few holdouts never do.
The film was praised for the chemistry between Costner as Charlie and Robert Duvall as Spearman. It also stands out for its intense gun battles, which have been noted for their realism, with the final shootout being of particular note.
We don't have to settle this here and now. You ain't going nowhere in this weather. But I'll be seeing you gents real soon. You can count on that.
This is especially notable since stylistic gunfights at the time of the movie's release were heavily influenced by The Matrix. Number 11, The Power of the Dog. Considered one of the best films of 2021, director Jane Campion really knocked this one out of the park. Not only did she win the Academy Award for Best Picture, but the movie also won a whole host of awards along with near universal acclaim.
So the West brothers, Romulus and Remus. and the wolf who raised us.
Two wealthy brothers, Phil and George Burbank, meet widow Rose and her son Peter on a cattle drive, and the film serves as an examination of masculinity and femininity in this revisionist Western. It touches on themes of melancholy, solitude, jealousy, and resentment as Campion masterfully weaves together an intriguing watch.
What is it, George?
I just wanted to say how nice it is not to be alone.
Number 10, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. He's one of the most notorious outlaws America has ever seen. But it took an Australian director to provide a psychological portrait that made moviegoers see Jesse James in a new light.
You got anything good here? Could be.
Arguably one of the most underrated films of modern times, Andrew Dominik's character study produced jaw-dropping cinematography courtesy of the master Roger Deakins. While Brad Pitt brought his usual coolness to the lead role, it was Casey Affleck's performance as the coward Robert Ford that pushed this modern Western to the next level, albeit in a rather disturbing way.
I don't even know what you're talking about. About how you and Jesse have so much in common.
Go on, Bob.
Yeah, come on, Bob. Tell us a story.
Number 9, The Quick and the Dead. Once upon a time in Sergio Leone's spaghetti westerns, Clint Eastwood played a vengeful man with no name. This Sam Raimi production followed suit, but with a gender reversal featuring a sharpshooting woman known as the Lady. Brandishing Colt peacemakers, Sharon Stone showed a few shooting techniques to a young Leonardo DiCaprio in a movie that also features Russell Crowe in his American cinema debut.
I apologize for my undignified behavior, but sometimes it's a little hard to get a drink around here.
Sure, The Quick and the Dead may be campy at times, but Raimi successfully managed to combine classic Western themes with his own sense of modern aesthetics. Number 8, Slow West. Aesthetically beautiful and finely acted, it only takes a few minutes to recognize the artistry of this modern classic. Directed by musician John McClane, Slow West requires patience from viewers, but the payoff is well worth it.
There were few of us left. Men beyond the law. But the most dangerous were the last to fall.
As an entitled Scottish lad travels west to find a lost love, he comes across a few squirrely characters ready to teach a few lessons and a few tricks.
There's more to life than just surviving.
Yeah, there's dying. Survival ain't just how to skin a jackrabbit. It's knowing when to bluster and when to hush.
With a vibrant palette of colors, stylized direction, and enriching performances, Slow West has widely been recognized as one of 2015's best independent films. Number 7, Dead Man. With this black and white surrealistic trip, Jim Jarmusch gave us a Western like we've never seen before. After all, who doesn't want to see a reincarnation of poet William Blake on a vision quest?
Is this a lie? Or a white man's trick?
No, I'm William Blake.
And you are a dead man.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Johnny Depp's troublemaking character messes around and takes a bullet close to the heart, thus effectively sealing his fate as a dead man walking. But such an injury forces a man to decide if he's going to get busy dying or get busy living. And the concept of this film worked brilliantly with Jarmusch's crisp direction.
What size shoes are those?
10.
They look very comfortable, are they?
Not too bad.
Number 6, The Homesman. This Tommy Lee Jones directorial outing will initially leave you unsure how to feel, but that's often the sign of a great film.
I'll go.
You can't.
Yes, I will.
What, a woman?
I can ride as well as anybody and handle a team and shoot. You all know that.
Despite a lack of box office success, The Homesman has been praised for the ensemble cast led by Hilary Swank, who must guide a group of women with mental health issues while coming to grips with her own desperation.
The one twitching her ears, she knows she's the subject of our discussion. She's the thinker. The other one's the worker. They should have names. What should we name them?
Needles don't need names, they need feed, and corn's the best there is.
With a focus on the female perspective, Tommy Lee Jones offered a new take on the Western by addressing the psychological and geographic turmoil that can make one slowly drift away inside of one's own mind. Number 5, 3:10 to Yuma. Although this is based on the 1957 film, Both versions are adapted from Elmore Leonard's short story of the same name, whose work is also the basis for FX's Justified and Justified City Primeval. This modern take adhered to classic genre styles with brutal realism. Christian Bale starred as a Civil War veteran hired to deliver Russell Crowe's murderous outlaw on an afternoon train to the slammer.
I'll come. For $200.
Any viewer should be advised that there will be blood, but in a highly stylized manner perfect for such a genre, with the steady hand of James Mangold directing the action, and acclaimed cinematographer Phaedon Papamichael exploring the landscape. 3:10 to Yuma was a harsh depiction of a rough and deceitful world.
You say one more word, I'll cut you down right here. Right here.
I like this side of you, Dad.
Number 4. Tombstone. With a backstory steeped in controversy and violence, this film tackled one of the greatest tales of the Old West.
I said throw down, boy. Oh! You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Kevin Costner was initially set to collaborate with filmmaker Kevin Jarre on this film. However, fate would lead the actor to work on another Wyatt Earp project, while George P. Cosmatos took over as director. Even so, the casting of Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer worked wonders, as the great Robert Mitchum narrated their story of the law versus outlaws.
All right, Verge. Your call. Give Doc the shotgun. He'll be less apt to get nervy if he's on the street howitzer.
Plus, the mood and tone make this Western a joy to watch. Number 3. Django Unchained. Speaking of artistic violence, there's no better director for that than Quentin Tarantino. For his stylized depiction of the 19th century Deep South, he once again refused to embrace accepted norms.
He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride.
Django Unchained featured Jamie Foxx as a slave hoping to reunite with his long-lost wife, and also starred Leonardo DiCaprio as the heartless owner of the Candyland plantation.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good Dr. Schultz. Beautiful morning, isn't it? You couldn't have picked a better one. Please, won't you take a ride with us here in the Victoria?
Oh, thank you very much.
While Tarantino's film was polarizing on many levels, it remains an unforgettable Western about the good, the bad, and the ugly of American history. Number 2. Unforgiven. If our list focused on the greatest Westerns of all time, the director and star of this cinematic classic would have a few here.
How about it, Will?
How about what?
How about being my partner? I'm heading up north in through Newbraska up to Wyoming. Gonna kill a couple of no-good cowboys.
After years of cold-blooded killing and buckets of booze, a grizzled outlaw retreats to a Midwestern pig farm, only to be offered one last job. You know the story, right? Well, not so fast, because Unforgiven transcends the average Western due to Clint Eastwood's mastery of the genre.
This ain't no time to quit, Ned.
You know, you're gonna lose your share, Ned.
Shut up.
I'll see you, Will. So long, kid.
His psychological study of Western ideals and flawed characters helped Unforgiven become only the third Western to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Number 1. True Grit.
One would be as unpleasant as the other.
When the Coen brothers signed on to update the 1969 John Wayne film, everybody seemed to understand that the final product would become a new Western classic. And so, as a 14-year-old girl enlists a gruff deputy marshal to track down her father's killer, the Coen brothers complimented the brilliant ensemble cast with their usual aesthetic skill and paid their respects to a beloved genre of film.
Perhaps we could double back over our tracks and confuse the trail in a clever way.
No, we will wait right here. Offer our friend a warm hello. Ask him where he's going.
FX's Justified City Primeval premieres July 18th on FX. Stream on Hulu.